Strong language is used in this video and on this channel. You have been warned.
Hello, viewers. I'm Raving Madly, and welcome to Captain of Industry. The factory building and city building games are kind of my first love lately with video gaming, more so than the simulation games that we've done so far on the channel. So I figured we would detour into that. Um, I'd much rather play this right now than I would schedule one. That one, for me at least, just really didn't land. And I didn't see a lot of interest in it on the channel side either. So we're going to try something new. Captain of Industry is it's similar to Factorio or Satisfactory. It's a factory building game. You have your island here that I think the premise is, I don't know if you're a civilization that's just building up on the island or if you've somehow been marooned on it. But you have your island, you have your resources, and initially, similar to Factorio, the goal was to launch a rocket. The game has since been updated multiple times, and with the most recent update, Update 3, they've added in space stations, asteroids that you can redirect to land on your island. Um, you can basically get infinite resources, my understanding is, from these asteroids. So I haven't actually gotten that far with it yet. I have the game that I've been playing offline has so far not launched a rocket yet, but I don't want to drop you guys into the middle of that. We're going to start a new game. This is a community map that we're playing on. It is Salvara Isle, updated for Update 3. Um, Update 3 added some new resources like titanium and bauxite. Those did not exist prior to Update 3 in the game. So this map is very flat. This whole area, there's not much difference to it, which makes it a fairly easy map in terms of terraforming. Um, the difficulty in this map comes from the resources not necessarily being close to you. This is a very large map, and what I found, this is the same map that I was using in my offline playthrough. What I found is that if you do not use the trains that were added in Update 3, your trucks cannot handle the logistics. It simply takes way too long. So we're going to start in a different place than where I've been playing offline. I think in my own game, I was starting here in location 1. We're going to crank things up a little bit. We're going to go to location 2. It's a little bit harder. The limestone that you're going to need in fairly short order is a good distance away. And we're going to need that before we get trains. So I don't know how this is going to shake out. This game is really easy to death spiral in. If you get visited by the good idea fairy, uh, it if you expand too fast, you don't keep up with your needs, it's real easy to kill your entire island. So we're gonna start on with regular captain difficulty, but then we're gonna modify it from there. Um, I'm gonna do some of this here. I'm gonna get into it more in the customization part. We're just gonna set these directly rather than trying to take the presets. I don't want extra starting materials. I want standard ore mining. I do, however, want unlimited world mines. Because if I'm going to pay to operate a mine on another island somewhere, I want that to last basically forever. We are going to force ourselves to sort anything that we mine out of the ground. So we have to run it through an ore sorting facility. Standard construction costs. I'm not looking to make this any harder than I need to. I want a full refund on deconstruction because this game, there's a lot of tear it back down and move it slightly or redesign it. And that just wastes resources if you don't get the full refund back. There's standard cost on research, standard maintenance, standard fuel, all of this. I'm not looking to make this super hard. Where we are going to make this a little bit harder is vehicles out of fuel. Well, things out of fuel don't work. If you run out of gas, it doesn't go. If your pump runs out of water, basically, if we run out of stuff, it's going to shut down. That's what I'm doing here. People starve to death, they're going to die. Standard disease mortality, again, I don't want to turn any of this up. Belts and storages will always consume power. Solar power will be standard. This is all fine here. We're not going to mess with any of this. Yeah, we're just going to leave all of that alone. So we have turned it up a little bit here, kind of adding to the realism, but we're not arbitrarily cranking up anything to make it harder than it needs to be. So with that, we're going to give ourselves a name here. Let's see, what should we name this? We'll name this Raving Island. Give ourselves a nice random game seed here. I think that just affects the world map. I don't think it changes anything to do with the actual map that you're playing and building on. I believe it just affects where stuff is on the world map and kind of like where you find crop seeds, where you find parts for your ship, stuff like that. I believe that's all the game seed affects. All right, so I guess the premise is that basically your ship is fucked and you've kind of found this island. You, for some reason, you were looking for this island, you found it. This is all basically tutorial stuff that I'm going to largely ignore because I've done this God knows how many times. The beginning of this game, it takes a while to get going. And we're going to try and power through it as much as we can because I don't want to waste hours on the beginning kind of basic technology parts of the game. I want to get to the fun parts where I get to design stuff. That's the part of the game that's fun for me. So first thing, we need wood. We're going to give our tree harvester here some trucks. And we're going to tell it to go forth and harvest trees. I want to clear out a decent sized area. Let's see what I've, holy shit. Okay. So this here, this is this iron? Nope, that's bauxite. We're not going to need that for quite a while, but we want to make sure that we don't build on top of it because that's going to screw us later when we do need it. So if you hit F11 on the game, it puts you in screenshot mode and you can zoom out way further and you can kind of use it to get a better view is what I use it for. I don't take a lot of screenshots in this game, but you can make it sunny if it's not. You can turn the fog off and get yourself a clear view of whatever you're trying to see. You can also use it to zoom in way farther than you could normally. So if I hit F11, it kicks me back out. So that gives you a little bit more versatility with your camera. So we want to be sure we don't build on this as much as possible, which means we're probably going to expand in this direction as soon as we can come up with some material to fill in the this river here, I guess you'd call it, and give us a bridge over to the other side. But we need excavators before we can do that. So we've got plenty of coal right here. Looks like got copper over here, got an oil deposit, sand. This is gold. We're not going to need this for quite a while. This looks like iron. Yep. Is that? No. That is more bauxite. Shit, I thought that was iron. Okay. That's quartz. Again, we don't need that as long as we have sand. The only use for quartz is crushing it to make sand. Okay, so this is actually a lot more difficult than I thought. Our iron is over here. This is actually iron. So we need to bridge this river like toot fucking sweet. Basically, as soon as I can get an excavator, I'm going to send it over here to start digging out this hill. And although I'm not a fan of doing it, we're also going to try and use our trash from the colony to try and bridge this gap here. I'm going to go 3 wide to start. If you only go 2 wide, it can give you issues with the trucks not being able to find a place to dump. They get jammed up really easily. So we've got some trees set for our harvester to go at. This is going to kind of guide you through getting going. By the time you finish all of the tutorials, you should have a pretty good idea of what you're doing. The plus side is that if you pay attention and do all of these, it pays you, basically. It gives you construction parts and diesel fuel and all kinds of stuff that you're going to need. So it pays to pay attention to this and do what it tells you to do. So the first thing we need is a coal maker, because we don't have the ability to mine coal yet. I can remember where the hell it is. Where the hell? Oh, it's under forestry. Of course it is, because when I think about coal, I think about forestry. All right, so there's not really a good place to put this right now. So this is as good a place as anywhere. Coal maker needs a smokestack to output the exhaust. We've assigned 2 trucks to the tree harvester. We just haven't unpaused. And we got to build a blast furnace. We're going to build that close to this because this is our first source of metal. So let's get blast furnace. Not going to worry about automating this too much yet. Same thing, we need a smokestack to output the exhaust. This creates 24 molten iron. Metal caster takes 12 molten iron, so we need 2. And what I'm doing here is just connecting everything together. Normally I'd have a storage container to output the slag, but we don't have storage containers yet. So we're not going to worry about trying to set that up. We'll unpause, and we're going to crank up the speed a little bit. And everything's going to build. Got our recipe set. So it's waiting for coal and iron scrap. As soon as these things finish, it'll give us credit for doing them. You see it gets checked off. So they're going to chop down some trees, feed it into the coal maker, and it'll make us some coal. And apparently it's going to get dark and rain. Because why not? Again, I'm not worrying too much about where I'm placing stuff right now, because everything I'm doing right now is going to be temporary. All of this is going to get torn down and replaced with something else. All right, so I've done iron production, so I get 50 diesel fuel, 50 construction parts, and 30 vehicle parts. So now we're going to work on the next one. We're building a farm here. Only thing we can grow right now are potatoes, and that's all we can do. We're going to get waste collection going, because that's going to be the first thing we can start dumping in the water there to build our bridge. And it's telling us to do it. It'll pay us to do it. So as soon as the settlement starts generating waste, which you can see it's already doing. Oh, I forgot. We don't want any partially loaded trucks. Partially loaded trucks waste fuel. We want them to wait for full loads. This is set for potatoes. All right, we need to build generator so that we have some electricity. You, like a lot of games. Oh, crap. I forgot I don't have planning mode yet. All right, so we've completed waste dumping. We get some bonus concrete and some construction parts. We're waiting for our potatoes. Got our potatoes, so we get paid for that too. So the next thing we need is we need some research labs so that we can start advancing our technology base here. That line up, or am I off by one square? We're going to build 2 research labs because one moves ungodly slowly. And as soon as they get going, we're going to start researching stuff. That's enough to start. The tools are kind of a low priority. I just want them because with tools, I get planning mode, which allows me to basically put a ghost of a building down, and it won't start building until I tell it to. Unlike right now where it builds, unless I build on pause and pause every construction process before it starts and before I restart game time, it will just build everything that I plop down right now. And I don't like that. I prefer to build all of the things and then have them build when I want them built. Where the hell is, here we go, trading dock. I know that you can snug this right up against your shipyard and it won't interfere with anything. I do that in just about every single game. This doesn't actually have a ship that comes to it. It just needs ocean access. And this does not get in the way of it, so we'll plop it right there to save us some space. It does, however, require a butt ton of wood. And yeah, that's going to need more wood than we actually have trees at the moment. So tell it to chop down some more trees. And Really? That's as big as I can make the box? Start clearing out on that side too. We are going to go through copious amounts of wood. And since we need, you can't, there's no other way to clear trees off of the map than by just cutting them down with a tree harvester. So, that being the only way to do it, this is going to be, let me zoom back out here. Actually, let me turn resources on first. This is going to be kind of our main source of wood because I want this area. This is going to be the main area for our colony because I don't want to build here. These are all resources that I'm going to need. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put, this gets real crowded real quick over here. I might put the colony over here, the actual living space. I might put that over here and then build like a massive rail depot or something to supply it. Because I'm basically going to fill this river in eventually. I'm going to fill this river in and I'm going to start filling in out this way as long as I don't fuck with my my ship access there. So I'm thinking, nope, I need to zoom back out. Thinking put the colony here because, I mean, what the hell else are we going to do with it? I mean, I suppose we could do farmland. We do have the water source right there. But our mine, our mine and everything is going to end up here. Hmm. Maybe we'll leave the colony where it is. Because it looks like I can't do anything in that mode. It looks like now we can go 2 more squares this way. Oh shit. Forgot they're gonna build all of that. Crap. This not having planning mode sucks. Okay. Let's just pause for a minute here. Yeah. Okay, so we can go straight up this way, and we're never gonna hit the bauxite there. So that's fine. Just to be sure nobody builds anything. Clear it all out. So we'll leave the colony here, I think. Over here, this is where our iron mine is going to end up. If we're going this direction anyway, probably mine out a bunch of this coal. So this is all going to be like mining and smelting and whatnot over here. We'll pump out all of this oil. We'll use that up first. There's a big one over here. This will be our number 2. Yeah, because there's no mountain here. It just looks like it. So this will be our number 2 oil deposit over here. Turn the speed back up here. Right. Actually slow this back down because I need to do stuff. Again, everything that I'm doing right now is temporary. All of this will be moved and cleaned up and made neater and prettier. Purchase concrete slab for iron. Don't actually need that, but I want my reward and I get a bunch more concrete for it. So this is now going to start producing construction parts, which are what we need to build everything. Our labs are cranking away. It's like I actually need to, I forget how quickly these first resources go by. Let's get diesel, concrete, the beacon. I don't really care about the captain's office right now, but copper, ship dock, rubber. I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. Line up every... I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because eventually I will want something and it'll be... If I just pick everything up right now, it'll be shoved way down the queue. All right, we have completed the next step. We've built all of the construction parts. Now we need a maintenance depot and another assembly to build mechanical parts because we need those for maintenance. Slow this back down a touch. We're going to put this... Actually, let's put it right across from the machine that's building parts for it. Maintenance in this game is critical to ensuring that your vehicles and machines continue to function. If you do not produce enough maintenance, everything will stop working, at least under the conditions we have. It is possible to set it up so that things just slow down without it. But the settings I set up, if things run out of maintenance, they will break and stop working. All right, we get our reward for that. Electronics and construction parts. All right, this is kind of where we need to be. We need excavators, and this is going to hold us up for a while because we can't mine iron ore until we can get over here. That's the closest iron ore, is that mountain. And as you can see, just dumping trash is not getting us very far. So we need another source of material. That source of material is going to be, let's just drop this right here, I guess. Go to place as any. Everything is temporary, remember. We're going to build 2 excavators. And we're going to build 4 pickup trucks to go with them. I'm just going to... No, I can't do that because the building isn't built yet. As soon as the building is built, I'm going to... Let's clear all of this up real quick so it gets out of my face. We'll turn this recipe on real quick. We already have a dumping zone. Okay, this is going to go nowhere for a while because, again, we can't get to the iron until I build us a land bridge here. So, all right, we're going to magically deliver everything with Unity. Unity is like your magic wand in this game. It is earned by keeping your population happy. Right now, I'm getting not much. I'm getting +1 Unity because they have food, and I'm getting plus 0.15 because they have potatoes. The higher levels of... Actually, those are... Yeah, okay, so the research labs are actually consuming Unity. I knew higher levels did. I didn't realize the first level did too. So they are consuming 0.5 Unity between them every month. And the higher level labs will consume more. So at this point, there's not a whole lot else that we can do until our vehicles get built. We're just kind of chilling and waiting for the game to do its thing. There is quite a bit of that in this game. Gonna build our beacon. Got trucks sitting around doing nothing, so I'm not gonna burn Unity to build it. The beacon will draw in additional people. Build that other chunk of the settlement too, because that we've got a quest for that. But this will bring in additional people. It starts out, I want to say, like every 9 months, maybe. And it slowly gets longer. It takes longer and oh, it starts out at 3 months. Okay, I'm an idiot. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know why you people listen to me. All right, so in 3 months, we're going to have 14 people show up. The important thing with the beacon is to remember to turn it off. You're going to get a little thing over here every time we get refugees. Oh shit, I need a mining tower. Mining tower is going to go over here. And just going to kind of buzz all of this flat. Don't want to go too far because I don't actually want to pick up any gold ore yet. Yeah. I'm going to fix the mine area here. Don't you worry, game. I will fix your little red wagon. Okay. Assign the excavator and 2 trucks. We also need an ore sorting plant because I decided to make the game hard for myself. So what will happen is the excavator will come over here and start digging. The trucks that are assigned to it will take everything to this sorting plant. It'll get sorted into rocks and dirt, basically, because that's all I'm mining up here. And then other trucks will take it over here and dump it. Okay, we can't do anything with this right now. This may or may not trigger. I don't know how. Nope, it's not going to trigger. Okay. So the game does know, apparently, that I'm not building this anywhere near a an iron deposit. Apparently, it is smarter than I give it credit for. Why are you not building? I have enough parts. What are you slackers doing? I have enough parts. I don't have enough trucks. That's the problem. It's all right. We got 4 more trucks coming off the production line here. Just magically deliver the resources. And you're starting to kind of see. All right, so we got our refugees. We get some potatoes and some vehicle parts, which is good because we need the vehicle parts. And the refugees also brought. We get some diesel, some scrap, some rubber, and some copper. We're going to leave that on right now because we've got 135 open slots in our encampment here, or colony, whatever the hell I'm going to call it. And we're going to need people. Nothing works without people to operate it. And I've assigned too many trucks to my tree harvester here. So let's take one back. And we're going to crank the speed back up. I'm tired of waiting for this, so just build it. Dirt. Rock. Pretty unlikely they're going to come up with anything else there. And if they do dig up any gold ore, I don't know if the game can even recognize it at this point. I think it can. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't want to dig it up because then I have to go dump it somewhere or store it until I need it. And I just don't want to deal with that. All right, we're in the same boat here with our basic diesel, where the closest oil deposit is on the other side here. So we can't do anything with that. Yay, more refugees. All right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep kind of cranking along with building this land bridge because we're going nowhere until this gets built. Not a whole lot else is going to happen because we're literally just waiting to build a bridge. Going to assign a whole bunch more trucks here because they're apparent. Let's build 5 more trucks. It'll give us a nice round number of 20. We have 80 at this point. I'd rather have too many trucks right now than not enough. So I'm going to keep the research running in the background while I do this. And we're just going to kind of power through. I will cut for now and cut back in when this bridge is completed. Because again, we can't do anything until we can get to the resources. Something went wrong with my audio recording. So the entire time I was fixing, or not fixing, but the entire time I was playing this, my computer did not record my vocal audio. So this is all added after the fact. Yeah. Basically, it took about 15 years in game to finish that bridge across the river. I had to build a second farm to feed all of the people so they didn't starve to death. And I had to move my coal maker over here on the left-hand side closer to all of the trees. We made a pretty sizable dent in that mountain to be able to fill in the river. This took quite a bit longer than I thought. And what I kept having to do was turn trees into coal and trade it for diesel to that village that I just showed on the map. I apologize for my audio description not being in time with the video, but yeah, mistakes happen. I'm not quite sure what went wrong there, but I don't have a save file that I can revert to. That was a reasonable time from where I realized it was fucked up. So essentially, we're now going to build our initial diesel setup over here. The oil pump that we're placing there produces 20 units of oil per month. And then the distiller requires 60 units per month. So for it to operate at full capacity, you need 3 pumps to feed 1 distiller. Normally, when I do this, I tend to build a double setup. I usually put in 6 oil pumps and 2 distillers. But due to, oh, okay, apparently we're going to talk about research now. Um, I got a large amount of research done before I had to pause the labs. I paused the labs and basically everything else to try and conserve fuel on the generator. I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have to be trading coal for diesel, but it required hundreds of units more fuel than I actually had. But we actually have a good deal more advanced technology than we're using right now. As you can see on the right hand side of the screen, we have tier 2 construction parts unlocked. We have the capability to build conveyor belts, just not the actual ability right now, because we've been funneling everything into keeping ourselves alive. So the goal right now is to get this setup up and running before I completely and utterly run out of fuel. And at the risk of spoiling the ending of this, I am going to manage to do it, but it's going to get pretty goddamn close. Normally, when I build this, as I said, I normally build a double setup with 6 pumps feeding 2 distillers, but I am so low on construction parts right now that I just desperately need one setup going. I also normally route this directly to the ocean rather than build a tank for the wastewater, but we are so far from water. And again, I'm so low on construction parts that it's just not feasible right now. It is less construction parts to build the storage tank than it is to run a pipe all the way to where I'm putting this wastewater dump. That's actually something that drives me insane, is having to tell the liquid dump what to dump. Later on in the game, once you get gas boilers unlocked, they come as soon as you place one, it's set up to burn any type of liquid fuel that they're capable of burning. But for some reason, liquid dumps, you have to tell it to not, or tell it what it's supposed to dump. So I just tried to Unity build all of that without bothering to look at my construction parts and realizing that I wasn't even close to having enough. And then went on to explain that you can't Unity build oil pumps. You also can't Unity build groundwater pumps, and you can't Unity build vehicle depots. Vehicle depots I get, because that would be a really cheesy way to be able to island hop. If I could have built my vehicle depot on the other side and just Unity built it, we wouldn't need a bridge. So I get that one. Oil pumps and water pumps, I don't get quite as much. As we expand on this side, we're going to need to get all these trees out of the way, because we're going to need space. And again, like I went over before, the only way to cut down these trees is to put a tree harvester on it. You can't just delete the tree like you can in a lot of other building games. And as soon as my tree harvester cuts down the last 2 trees it can over there, we're going to move the entire coal making setup to the other side of the river, because that will burn a stupid amount of fuel going from the trees on the other side of the river to drop the coal where the storage currently is. It's a preposterous amount of diesel, which is why I actually moved the coal making setup in the first place, because where I originally had it on the other side of the colony, even that was burning way too much fuel for me to keep afloat with my nonsense coal for diesel trading. We're actually going to start mining coal here shortly. And we're going to use this deposit on this side of the river because it's closer to where I'm going to put the iron smelter. The iron smelter is going to be right outside of the iron mine to begin with. Later on, once I am no longer scrambling to keep my colony afloat here, we'll move to a kind of more centralized smelting setup that will have um, it'll probably be steel by that point rather than iron, but it'll have steel, copper, glass, uh, concrete. All of that will be all in one place. And it's going to get serviced by a gigantic rail network that will eventually get built. Um, but that is obviously far ahead of where we are right now. Right now, we're still at the stage where we need small local setups that can then be transported back to where the factory is going to be. And the factory right now, I'm going to say, is probably going to be close to the river. And I say right now, but I don't tend to move my factory once I place it. So we're definitely going to have to put some serious thought into where that's going to live because it needs space not only for the factory, and by the factory, I'm basically referring to construction part manufacturing. Everything else, I kind of find a home for around that. I consider the construction parts to be kind of the main thing that you're building, at least at this stage of the game. As you progress through the game, obviously you're going to begin to focus more on the space side of it. So your rockets and your items to maintain your space station and all of that, that's going to take precedence over construction parts then. But I need to get a nice big flat open area for the factory. Setting up my iron mine right now. As I said, it's going to be right outside the deposit. And the smelter is going to go right here as well. Though I'm not going to worry about that right now because I am, again, if you look at the right side of the screen, I've got 12 construction parts right now. You're not building shit with 12 construction parts. I think you can build a smokestack. That's about it. And yet again, I'm forgetting that I don't have planning mode. Or actually, I do have planning mode. I'm just a Muppet and I haven't turned it on because I sat here obsessing about this bridge for like an hour and a half, is what it took in real time of me just letting these trucks build this thing on, super high speed while I sat here and tried not to fall asleep and not to let everybody die. So my tree harvester is finished on this side of the river. I'm going to remove the Unity, and then we're going to blow away the coal maker, and we're going to move it to the other side of the river. I don't move the coal storage at this point because when I did it the first time, the game ate the coal that was in the storage. It didn't move it to the shipyard. It didn't. It may have put it in the blast furnace. I didn't check that, but I had like 20 or 30 coal that I was planning on trading for diesel, and it just vanished on me. So it made me a little gun shy about destroying storages with coal in them. Because as again, if you look at my diesel level on the right hand side, I'm getting real low to the point where, you know, I think these trucks take about 5 fuel every time they fuel up, these small little pickup trucks. So there's not much left. I lost my tree harvester, but there it is. So I'm going to drop the coal maker over here near where the tree harvester is working. Because again, I want it to go a really short distance to or have the trucks go a really short distance, I should say. The tree harvester doesn't deliver the trees, but I want a very short distance to drop the wood right now that they're turning into coal, because the further they drive, the more gas or diesel they're burning. It's not gas. Diesel and gas are different things. Um, and I'm so low right now that I'm shutting down construction on everything to try and get the construction parts where I want them, which is into right now one oil pump and the distiller and the coal maker. Those are my absolute priorities right now, because I don't have the coal to trade right now, and I don't have enough construction parts to make my own diesel yet. And I'm going to waste some on the coal maker because I don't, that's all you can trade for diesel. They won't take anything else. So I'm pausing literally everything in terms of construction, um, to try and get construction parts where I need them to keep this run going. I got the coal maker up and going. I've got just enough construction parts to get that smokestack going, because it won't work without the smokestack. Trucks cannot export exhaust. Once you start producing other forms of, I'll say, combustion byproducts, trucks can export those. They can export CO2. They can export. Actually, I don't think they can export steam. So we've got the coal maker up and running. We just have to wait for the trucks to bring the coal there. But I have forgotten that I checked the box to disable logistics on newly placed buildings. So everything that I place cannot accept imports or exports. And I keep forgetting that I've done that. And all the Captain of Industry I've been playing in my offline game, okay, they're all offline, but off stream, off recording, whatever you want to call this, my game is much further along than this. And I tend to automate everything I can. So my buildings almost always export by conveyor belt or pipe into a storage. So I frequently, the reason I have logistics disabled on the buildings is because I don't want the trucks servicing the buildings. I want the trucks servicing the storages. I don't want trucks to, go pick up, I don't know, 5 rubber somewhere and bring it to a building. I want them to go pick up 20 rubber and bring it to the storage that feeds the building, because I want trucks fully loaded driving around the map. Anything less than that is a waste of fuel. They're going to do it anyway sometimes. It is sometimes necessary to circumvent my setup and have them deliver directly to a building, but I try to make it the exception rather than the rule. And as you can see, we are rapidly running out of fuel in everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and I'm going to look at the fuel level on these vehicles, and I'm going to pause any of the trucks that, because I do actually have the capability to make diesel fuel. I've got an oil pump, I have the distiller, I have the smokestack. The storages that are hooked up are not necessary. The trucks, if I click the stupid button there, which I will eventually, the trucks can export directly from the distiller. I don't think they can fill up from the distiller, but they can take the fuel, take it to a tank, and fill up from there. So now I'm pausing all of the trucks that are seriously low on fuel, because I don't want them to do anything at this point, because they're going to run out of fuel. And then my cargo is stuck in a truck that can't go anywhere except a fuel station. So anything that's I've got quite a few that are at less than 10% fuel, and I'm just letting anything else ride for now. Those are all the trucks that I have assigned to the mining tower, which is right by my fuel blivet right there. So they all have plenty of fuel. Pausing all of the excavators so that they can't use any fuel. And I'm just desperately doing anything I can to make sure that the fuel distiller there actually starts producing diesel fuel, because that is what will tank this entire run. So I had enough parts that I could Unity build that coal bin. And because I want to bring all the coal over by the distiller right now, because you need coal to have it produce diesel fuel. And I screwed up my logistics again, which I will explain in a second here. But it the math works out that the rate that I'm trading at, it is more efficient to use the coal to make diesel fuel, because it costs me 80 coal to get 40 diesel fuel. Whereas if you look at the recipe on the distiller, it costs you 6 coal to make 27 diesel fuel, which I just brought up right here, conveniently enough. So it is a much better deal for me to make diesel than it is to trade for diesel. Even as hard up as I am right now, I'm way better off making it. And I did turn the logistics on for the distiller right there. So as soon as it generates 20 diesel fuel, which it will once I unfuck my logistics, because I have the logistics screwed up on the storage bin. As soon as it generates 20 diesel fuel, a truck will pick it up and take it over to the fuel blivet. Yeah, because I had it set to keep full so trucks won't take coal out of it, but it's still fucked up, and I'm still not figuring it out, because apparently I'm just a dim spark today. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep fucking with that distiller, even though it's not the problem. Because when I click on the coal bin here in a second, yeah, look at that red thing right. Yep. I have it set to not let trucks export because I'm a Muppet. We are getting close to where I'm going to wrap it up. We have saved ourselves from certain doom because we are now actually producing diesel fuel. So the oil patch here that I'm currently pumping has about 100,000 units of crude in it. That's not going to last a crazy long time, but it will last for a while. And on the other side of that giant mountain of gold that we were mining to build our bridge, there's a massive oil deposit over there. And that'll be where we go next. That'll be our next source of oil. I don't want to run an oil rig until I have to. I want to use up everything that I can on the island before I start paying Unity for an oil imports. Plus, it ties up a cargo terminal and a ship to do that. So we've made some kind of baby steps into self-sufficiency here. We have the farms running. We've got plenty of workers to go around. And now we finally have access to the iron ore and the coal that we need to finish off the quests that we have. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I have been raving madly. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.